Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. On this episode, I'm going to go over what we need to pass tech for the 2026 No Name Nationals, which will be held in Sikeston, Missouri on September 25th and the 26th. On the 24th, the Thursday before, we have a cruise-in / car show at Lambert's Restaurant there in Sikeston. Good time, good food. Trust me. Anyway, also, on Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, John Wilburn does a live every Friday evening. Now on the 21st of this month, August, will be a special night. Deke will be his guest. So on John's live, he will have Deke, who is the official safety inspector for the No Name Nationals 2026. So if you have any questions about your ride passing tech, that is the episode you definitely want to catch. They will try and answer every question they get about the tech specs. Anyway, so let's get into this. Okay, now if you're running the hood, make sure it's secure before you get on the track. If you're not running the hood, make sure everything in the engine bay is secure before you get on the track. Alright, now, as far as the cooling system, no antifreeze, no chemicals of any kind. Only thing they will allow is water. Pure water, that's it. That's the only thing allowed on the track. Then we go to catch can, puke can, overflow tank, whatever you want to call it. That's a requirement. No less than 16 ounces, according to the rules. Alright, now, dual springs. You have to have 2 springs on your throttle cable return. The spring on the carburetor does not count, so you have to have 2 external springs on your throttle linkage. Also, no more than 12 inches of rubber line anywhere in the fuel system. That's anywhere. More than 12 inches. So, I'll get to that later. Also, make sure you have no leaks. You do not want any kind of leak on the track at all. That's a big no-no. Also, all the holes in the firewall must be plugged. No open holes. That's a big no-no. If they lead into the passenger compartment, those must be plugged. Alright, now moving on. A big concern with people questions is a lot of it is about the stud lug combination thing. I believe if you are running the stock wheel and the stock lug nuts that the car came with from the factory, you are okay. But if you're like me, using aftermarket rims and aftermarket studs and lugs, the diameter of the stud has to protrude through the hex part of the lug nut the same amount. So these are 7/16, so I have to protrude through the hexagon part 7/16 of an inch. Same way if like a 1/2 inch stud has to go through the hexagon, not the shaft, the hexagon part of the stud of the lug nut. 1/2 inch. Okay, for visualization, I dug out an old 7/16 by 20 lug nut. Now these are okay, but Deke may ask you to remove 1 or 2 to make sure you have enough stud penetrating the hexagon part, not the shaft part. That's what I mean by the shaft. This part here does not count. So in other words, your stud exiting the hub would have to, would have to be there at a minimum. That, where my finger is, that would be where the lug nut bottoms out against the stud, the hub. So your stud would have to be that long, sticking out of the hub. Okay? Okay, back on the car. Windshields, they require, if you have a crack, it's required, they don't want to have a cracked windshield, obviously, common sense, people. But if you have a crack, it can't be more than 6 inches, I believe was the rule. And preferably not in the driver's side, where it would impair the driver's vision. That's a big no-no. Okay? Now, moving on. Everyone who arrives, new people especially, you will get your number assigned to you from John Wilburn. And they're in coordination with your registration. When you registered, you're assigned a number. I was the second year, so I got the 73. But anyway, it has to be displayed somewhere on the driver's side, left-hand side of your car, to where Ron Ward, our official announcer of the No Name Nationals 2026, will be up in the tower. And when you come up to the burnout pit, he will be able to see the number clearly, and then he can tell the audience who you are and what about your, what information you gave him about your car. He can announce that. So that's important to put that, make sure, and that if something happens, we know who it is. So that's important. Okay, on the inside. Now, if you are running, which I'm not, if you are running a 739 or faster, you're required to have a roll cage, which I don't have. I don't run that fast. I'm only in the mid-8s. It's a street car. Come on. Anyway. Seat belts, that was another thing we had a lot of questions on. Factory replacement style seat belts are acceptable. If you are going faster than 639 or faster, you will be required to have a snail certified helmet. I believe 2015 or 2016 is the limit on it, or newer. And you also have to have certified harnesses. That's if you're going 639 or faster. Okay. Now also, another requirement, this is a big one. Neutral safety switch. Every car has to have a neutral safety switch. Now this shifter does not allow that. So what I've done is I've rigged up a park only start switch. If this car is not in park, the total electrical system is shut off. It won't do anything. So this has to be in park in order to start or even turn on the wipers. Okay, that's a requirement. Neutral safety switch or a park only start switch. Okay, all right. Now this is another one. If you are running slicks of any kind, like I am, a cheater slick, drag radial, any kind of race tire, you are required to have a drive shaft loop. Okay? And on the drive shaft loop, it has to be made out of 1/4-inch steel, and it has to be no more than 6 inches from the center line of the front drive shaft U-joint. You get that? No more than 6 inches from the center line of the front U-joint. Okay. Now, if you're having a fuel cell, like I am, and a battery in the trunk, you're required to have a manual kill switch on the outside of the vehicle. Okay, that's a requirement. Also, you are required to have a, hear that? I have a firewall between the passenger compartment and the trunk. So that's a requirement if you have a fuel cell and a battery in the trunk. Now the rules say that if you don't have a firewall behind the back seat or between the trunk and the passenger compartment, you are required to have your battery mounted in a box and vented to the outside of the vehicle. I did this just as a double safety. I'm about safety, right? So yes, Deke, I did go get some 3/8 rod. He geeked me last year on these. They were 5/16. And Deke is an awesome dude. He let me slide, so I was able to go down the track a few times. But no, Deke, I'm going to switch this out. It will be right this year. Okay. Also on the my vent tube, we did the 3-loop rule, which is acceptable. And again, no rubber, no more than 12 inches of rubber line, so that would not work for this. Now, if you have a rollover valve, what they call, to where if it's got like a check ball, if you roll over, God forbid, it will stop the fuel from emptying out on the track. That's awesome. But anyway, that's what I've got so far. I believe that will cover it. The battery hold downs are required to be 3/8 studs if you have it in the trunk. Now if it's mounted up front in the factory position using the factory mounts, I believe that is okay. as long as it hasn't been modified in any way. If it's what the car came with out of the factory up front, I believe you're fine. But any modification, putting it in the trunk, in the back seat, wherever, then you're required to do the 3/8 stud hold down, or like I'm using the thread rod, stuff like that. Anyway, I believe I covered it all. Everybody have fun, be safe. Just common sense, people. Keep everything safe. If you see something, like you're in the staging lanes and you look around and you notice somebody's car is smoking underneath or dripping something, which reminds me, I'm glad I just thought of that. If you have a AC on your vehicle, if you are running air conditioning, do not turn it on while in the staging lanes or on the track, please. That's another requirement. No AC in the staging lanes, but it'll leave a puddle of water under your car for the next guy to drive into. It's not good. Okay? Common sense, like I said. If you see something, say something. We're all about safety. I mean, 5 minutes of somebody checking something out under their hood or under their car real quick before they get on that track could save a life. So, if you see something, say something, please. Okay. Now, I'll go on to part about the track, which is awesome. There is camping allowed on the track pit area. You're allowed to bring tents, campers, whatever. I sleep on my trailer with a canopy over me. But yeah, there is camping on site. There's also showers and bathrooms, and I believe John will have porta-johns out. So there is showers. They redid those, I believe, for last year. They're awesome. All that, I believe. Because Possum, the track owner and track official, super, super, super cool dude. If you have any questions about the track or any needs of anything, he's the man to talk to. He'll get it taken care of if he can. So that's... Anyway, they do have a YouTube channel and I believe Facebook, and it's called Skeleton Racing. So on YouTube, it's all one word, at Skeleton Racing. And that'll bring you to the track YouTube channel. And I believe it's the same on Facebook, Skeleton Raceway. And they have all the information about the track and all that, times. But it's fun. Like I said, it's the coolest event you will ever go to in the world. Seriously. Yeah, I want to see everybody there. Stay safe, have fun, and hopefully this will help you get on your way to passing tech. Like I said, don't forget, John Wilburn's Live, August 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Set your timers. You do not want to miss that live. Deke will be on, and they will answer your questions concerning passing tech. Okay? So y'all have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.